we're going to go ahead and get started. So first off, thank you so much for everybody joining us tonight. I know you all are really busy, so I'm going to try and touch on just the most important things, and yeah, we'll get you on your way. So first off, this year, more than ever, communication is going to be the key to our success with Wreath Day. So this evening, we're going to talk about some of the big questions that, that we get as regional liaisons, and we're going to help you kind of work through those questions and get some answers, and hopefully clarify a few things so that everything runs nice and smooth this year. So first off, what should you expect for Wreath Day? Wreath Day is going to look a little bit different this year, and that's okay. But really, we're just thrilled that we're able to move forward with honoring and remembering our veterans nationwide. So a few different things that are going to look different. First off, the ceremonies. The location that your group supports is going to determine how everything looks on Wreath Day at their location. The location coordinator is going to work with the cemetery director. They're also going to take into consideration the county health restrictions that are in place, because we want to make sure that we're following all of that, and that we're keeping everybody safe. So the ceremony, first off, it could be still open to the public, same as normal. It might be limited to just a small group, or it might be recorded and shared virtually through Facebook or YouTube or another avenue. So the second thing is the wreath laying event. We are going to be laying wreaths at over 2,200 participating locations this year, which is awesome. Again, it's going to look a little bit different than normal. The location coordinator will determine what's going to be best at your particular cemetery. It might look exactly the same as it has in years past. It might be open to the public at a set time and look very similar to what it was last year. However, a lot of locations are going to be laying their wreaths over the period of a day or a couple of days, and they may be requiring signups and limiting how many volunteers are able to come to the cemetery during any given time block. And then some locations might only be able to have a small core group of volunteers, or even just the cemetery staff lay the wreaths. But what's important is that we are going to still be laying wreaths at over 2,200 participating locations nationwide this year. And we are thrilled that we can move forward and still do this safely. So the big thing is that as group leaders, you're going to want to reach out to the location coordinator at the cemetery that you're planning to volunteer at, and check with them to see what their plans are, see what they're doing for their ceremony, see what they're doing for the wreath laying, and find out how you can help. You know, it is a different year, and a lot of our location coordinators are counting on volunteers just like you to step up and help out in ways that you probably haven't really ever had to. But that's the awesome thing about our Wreaths Across America family, is that we're really good at coming together and helping out in times of need. So reach out to the location coordinator for details. You can also check the Wreaths Across America location website for additional info. Keep in mind, a lot of location coordinators are still working on finalizing those plans and getting everything together, so their website might not reflect those changes quite yet. But over the course of the next few weeks, those will all get updated, and you'll see the information there that you need. So next up, what if the location that you support hasn't released their plans yet? What if they're still working on it? What can you do as a sponsorship group? So the good news is you can still fundraise. And actually, we encourage you to continue fundraising and the efforts that you have within your local community, because most all of the locations are going to be laying wreaths in some capacity. If for some reason the wreaths aren't able to be laid because of COVID, then we will roll over the wreaths that would have been placed this year, and we will place them next year. If you are a $5 payback group, you're going to continue receiving your payback checks every 30 to 45 days after you submit them. And all of that will stay as normal. The only difference would be is that you would place those wreaths next year on December 18th, 2021, instead of this year on December 19th. So we do still encourage you to continue fundraising and doing what you do. And again, reach out to your local location coordinator. You should have, by now you should have all received the email from your regional liaison with the location coordinator's contact information. If you haven't seen that yet, check your junk or your spam folder in your email and make sure it didn't automatically filter there. If you see it in your junk or your spam, all you're going to do is just move it to your inbox, and the messages will start filtering to your inbox going forward. You can also add your regional liaison as a contact in your email, and then that will help your emails to end up in your inbox instead of in your junk folder. And I recommend that you take the time to read through all those emails that your regional liaison sends out, because there's going to be a lot of really important information through season that will be in those emails, and we want things to run as smoothly as possible this year. So take the time to read through things, and as you have questions, you can reach out to them and they'll help clarify for you. So when you are looking for ceremony information, Wreath Day information at the location you're volunteering for, you're going to go to the Wreaths Across America location website. You can also check their Facebook page if they have one, and that's where you're going to see any updates. Some of our locations are putting up page alerts, so that's the first thing you see. Others, you'll find the details if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the location page. Right here, let me get my little pointer. So right here, where it says ceremony and volunteer information, that's where the location coordinator will put all of the details of what you can expect this year on Wreath Day. You know, if signups are required, or if they're limiting how many people, or if they're doing their wreathing over a period of days, all of that information will be here, so that you know what to expect. And then once you're ready to sign up as a volunteer for Wreath Day, you're going to do that. It's at the very top of the location page, right next to where the sponsor wreath button is. You're going to see a red volunteer button, just like this. Go ahead and click on that, and then this screen will pop up where you can give us a little bit of information about if you're coming by yourself, or if you're coming with friends or family, or your sponsorship group, or other people from your community. And then you'll just submit your registration. That's how you'll sign up to volunteer on Wreath Day. But the awesome thing is, you'll then be added to the email list that your location coordinator sends out with updates about Wreath Day. So, you know, that way you'll automatically get notified anytime there's a change in plans, or any kind of updates that you're going to want to be aware of. So let's talk about how to submit your wreath orders. We're coming up on that time of year where, you know, this is where everybody's starting to get real busy with everything. There's two different ways to order. You can do it either online or through the mail. So first, let's talk about online ordering. Whenever you order wreaths online, or you direct donors to order wreaths online, you know, maybe you want to share your website link on Facebook or on social media, so that people can go direct to your group page. The big thing is just make sure you're always sharing your group website. In order for your group to get credit for the order, they would have to order directly through your group website, not the location website. It's especially important when you're sharing your link with anybody and especially if you oversee a group and a location, that you're just sharing that group page. Your group website is just www.wreathsacrossamerica.org/ and then you're going to just insert your group ID. And if you're not sure what that is, reach out to your regional liaison and any of us can help you with that. So once you go to your website, this page is going to pop up right here. You're going to select how many wreaths you'd like to sponsor and which location you'd like the wreaths to go to. You're going to see the default location that your group supports. That will be listed first right here. If you want to select a different location, you're just going to tap on that right there, and the full list of locations that you support will show up. You can select a different one, or if you want your wreath to go to a completely different location altogether, then you'll click where it says choose another location, and you can search for any participating location nationwide. That's a nice option for a lot of people who have loved ones that are laid to rest, maybe not right there in your hometown, and they want to be sure to sponsor a wreath for them. So once you select the correct location, then to check out, you're going to click this red button that says review my sponsorships, and you'll just double check that the group ID and the location ID are attached to your order, and then you'll check out and you'll pay with credit or debit card, Google Pay or PayPal. Super easy. If you need help at any stage in the process, you can call your regional liaison for help with this, or you can even call customer service, and any of us are happy to help you place orders. Now, if you're looking to add a grave-specific order, or to do an order in honor and memory of a loved one, or you want to order a Patriot pair, those are listed right down here where it says more options. You'll see a circle for each of those special options. And if you click the little side arrows here, if there are additional options available, those will be listed as well. Now, grave-specific wreaths are only accepted online. So anybody that wants to place an order for a wreath that goes on their loved one's grave, you would direct them to your group website. And once they select the location, if grave-specific placement is available, if the location is able to place them, then you'll see that listed here as an option. You're going to just click on that, and a form will come up that you'll fill out with all of the applicable information for placement of that wreath. And then you'll check out, same way, paying with your credit or debit card, Google Pay or PayPal. And then the same thing with in honor and memory of, and with a Patriot pair. Your online orders are going to show up on your dashboard within about 24 to 48 hours, which is really nice, especially if you're keeping track of that wreath count. And as we get closer to the cutoff, it's real nice to be able to pop on there real quick and see any online orders that have been placed recently. So the second way that you can place wreath orders is by mailing in a check or a batch of checks. We highly recommend that you submit your checks as you receive them, so that we can make sure that they process right away, and also to give us an idea of how many wreaths are going to be needed this year. Just kind of helps us plan ahead. If you are sending in just one check at a time, then you'll include the wreath sponsorship form, this one right here on the left. If you're going to be sending in multiple checks in one envelope, you can just send in a tally sheet just like this, and you'll just indicate all the different sponsors and their information, the check numbers, and you can pop all those checks in one envelope with the tally sheet and send them on their way. The mailing address for Wreaths across America is listed right here on the Wreath sponsorship form. If you forget, reach out to us anytime. We're always happy to get that for you. The most important thing with either of these forms is that you get the correct location ID and fundraising group ID on either form, whichever one you're sending in. So on this one, it's just right down here at the bottom. On the other one, it's also right here at the bottom. The reason why we need these ID numbers on the orders is so we know how to allocate that wreath. We won't have any idea where it's supposed to go if we don't have ID numbers to go with it. So just make sure you've got those on there. Now, if you send in a check and it doesn't go through, say it bounces, then your total wreath count will be adjusted to remove however many wreaths came from that payment. If you're a $5 back group and we've already paid you for the wreaths, but we don't receive payment for them because of a bounced check, that amount will be deducted from your next payback check. Now with the mail-in orders, those are going to show up on your dashboard within about 3 to 4 weeks of you sending them in. We recommend that you make copies of them before you send them, and if you're able to, send the envelope with tracking so that you have records to cross-reference and so that you can see when your envelope is received at headquarters. So now once you've sent in your orders, whether you've placed your orders online or if you've mailed them in, they're all going to show up on your wreath count report. This is probably the quickest and easiest way for you to keep track of your orders. It's really easy to find. All you're going to do is log into your account, into your dashboard. Then you're going to click on Manage and Reporting, and then you'll click on the wreath count report. So first thing you're going to see once the report pulls up is this gray box right over here on the left. You're going to want to make sure that you check the box next to your group ID so that it pulls up all the numbers for your group. It'll have a breakdown for you of how many wreaths have been paid for through your group. If you're a 3 for 2 group, you'll see that number right here. And if you purchased any wreaths during a matching campaign that we had earlier in the year, then you would see those numbers indicated here, which would give you your wreath count. That wreath count number carries over here to the right. And if you have any carryovers or credits, those will show up here. And if you have any wreaths that are being processed, that number will show here, giving you your total number of wreaths. So down at the very bottom, you're going to notice these different tabs: overview, more stats, trending, detail, mailed wreaths being processed. The two that you're going to use the most frequently are mailed wreaths being processed and detail. When you mail in some checks, once those are received at headquarters, we're going to add the information right here to this tab, mailed wreaths being processed. You'll see the date that we received the envelope, and you'll see how many wreaths were in it. So that's another really good way for you to keep track of any orders that you've mailed in and you're not sure if we've received it yet. So at least you can check the tab, see if we've received it. Once the finance department has finished processing that batch of orders, they will move over to this detail tab. That's where you're going to see the detail of every order. You'll see the donor name, the location ID, the group ID. You'll see how much the order was for, how many wreaths you got from the order, and you'll see if it was sent in through the mail or if it was placed online. I think that's pretty much it with this. Another good report that you can pull up is called Research Orders. It gives you more detail about each of the orders that are placed, and you can also find that under Manage on your dashboard. So as far as the cutoff date for Wreath Orders this year, that's on November 30th for any wreaths that are going to be placed in 2020. If your order comes in after that cutoff date of November 30th, we will do our very best to try and get those wreaths on the truck for placement this year. But once that truck leaves, then any other wreaths, they're going to carry over to next year. So one of the best times to fundraise, honestly, is the month of December. And that's because Wreaths Across America is already in the spotlight. It's top on everybody's minds. And, you know, once you've placed your orders, that November 30th, you know, you just keep in mind that before that date, those wreaths are going to be placed in 2020. But any orders that come in after that date, they're going to be placed in 2021. So your fundraising efforts can continue on, and you can know that you're getting a head start on next year, which is going to give you, you know, a better chance of fully covering your cemetery. So, you know, as a fundraising group, you can continue to carry your efforts throughout the entire year, but December is also a very good month to really keep doing what you're doing. Now, on your group website, you're going to notice a wreathometer. That's the little wreath on the left-hand side. It's going to turn green as you reach your goal. And so that's a nice way for your community to keep an eye on things and to know exactly how close you are to fully covering your cemetery or just meeting your group goal. We will switch that over to 2021 around the end of this year, the first part of the new year. Your regional liaison will let you know when that happens, and will also remind you to reinstate for 2021. We recommend you reinstate early in the year while it's still fresh on your mind, and then you'll be all set, ready to go, and you can just carry on with what you're doing. And that is it. Short and sweet tonight.